The National Center for Appropriate Technology, NCAT, formerly known as ATRA, has fantastic resources for you for organic certification. I don't know how many of you are certified or registered organic or consider that an option with your marketing. For us, it definitely, we certified in '92, and while the regulations get tighter and tighter every year, we really feel strongly that this is a worthwhile endeavor for us to continue to stay certified organic. So we will keep working with that. But if you are just considering organic certification, it's pretty intimidating, and this publication will really help you get through the certification process with questions about, is you have to document everything. The thing with certified organic, you have got to prove everything that you do, and that aspect of it is, while it's a pain, I like the fact that I can prove to my customers that we are what we say we are, that we have proof that I mean, of course anybody can cheat, but we can prove all of these things, and we are required by the state and federal regs to go through that process. So if you're thinking about becoming certified organic, use this site, use this resource. It will really help you go through the process. So thinking about the different aspects of regulations, ever since the E. coli outbreak was found in lettuce, I think the first big one I think was in 1996, food safety guidelines have really tightened up. I think there was a company in California that was rinsing lettuce in dirty, bacteria-laden water that was in a shed about 100 feet away from a cattle pen, right in the path of some dust-borne manure. And every time something like this happens, regulations tightened. And it really gives you it's always great for the local market when something happens in California, where the majority of our lettuces come from, or we had another scare on spinach a while back. It makes people want to look more closely at supporting local, but it also takes you to a place that scrupulous cleanliness at every step of your operation, from harvesting through processing, is so crucial to avoid bacterial contamination. And if you're selling produce, fresh produce, you need to familiarize yourself with the GAPS program, that Good Agricultural Products, and look at it closely. I think it's inevitable over time that it may end up that we all are going to have to be GAPS certified in some way to prove that we are doing good food safety guidelines. So think about that. Seed production, I'm just kind of touching on some different things as far as regulation. We have been increasing our seed production at Green Tree Naturals every year, doing a lot of seed selection and seed trials for our own farm, but now we're considering taking the next step for selling certified organic seed. And if we want to produce seed for export out of Idaho, we have to have a phytosanitary certificate from the ISDA, which is an application process and fee, of course, associated with that, and we have to have a field inspection. We are applying for seed certification this year, and in doing so, we're finding that there's different regulations for different kinds of seed. The beans, for example, there's a whole process that we have to apply for us to be able to sell beans. I think we even have to go through the process if we're saving our own bean seed and using. So my main point here is that you really need to look closely at what those regs are and take a close look. Don't just there's only, you can only so many times say I didn't know when it comes to them, the regulatory agencies coming in and taking a look. I love this picture of the cat sleeping on the beware of dog. It's kind of sums up that whole process there, I think, a little bit. In managing risk it's really unlikely that any one person understands all the areas of risk a family farm faces. And if you don't know the answer or find it difficult to initiate risk management planning on your own, get assistance. Do your homework. I mean, we say that every week, but being informed is the key to having a successful farm business. You really need to take the time to look through these things. And the other part of that is, boy, the regulations change. It seems like sometimes, I mean, I know they change almost every year, and sometimes they will change within the year a couple times. And I know some of you that are doing any kind of dairy products, definitely so. In the state of Idaho, the milk has always been an on and off process as far as regulations go. The Idaho State Department of Ag has all kinds of state enforcement requirements for milk and dairy products. The licensing and fees are different if you're processing cheese or butter. So just last summer we were at our farmers market. It was the first time we were able to have raw milk sold, so that's a brand new thing for us. So the big 5 types of agricultural risk kind of goes through a process here, but I just wanted to touch a little bit on each of these and just keep on the focus that the more you know, the better you can be at assessing and reducing the risk. So just a brief bit on production risk for those of us that are growing crops, but it's the same if you're growing animals like Mimi was talking about. She's got little piglets due to be birthed next week. Well, it doesn't look like the weather's going to be that bad, but if it's, I know a lot of people that end up having their piglets born when it's 10 below, well, you better be out there protecting those little guys and making sure they're warm and going through that process. So that is a production risk. But in this case, the photo depicts transplanting, obviously. We transplant at least 50% of our gardens, and we do that to assure a couple things. One, that we have good healthy plants to have an early harvest, but we also need to know that every square inch has got a plant growing that is going to produce for us. And in dealing with the production risks, we grow different varieties. We always grow 6 to 8 different varieties of broccoli. We do about 37 kinds of lettuce, which we rotate different varieties. From spring to summer lettuce is different than spring lettuce and fall lettuce. We use lots of season extension soaker hoses or drip lines, so you're only watering the planted crops and not the weeds, although of course the weeds are growing no matter what. But that diversity in what you plant by growing different varieties is certainly going to make a big difference in your risk. For marketing, the savvy farmer keeps an eye on this kind of thing at all time. You really need to develop a marketing plan with realistic sales forecasts and target prices as best that you can. And I know that you know that if you're the first one with the lettuce at market, you're going to get a better price than once everybody else has that, and that's pretty much with anything. So marketing through different outlets to reduce reliance on a single market is really, really important. And doing a market research survey of your customers is a very important thing to do. We do a survey of our CSA customers every year. We do a survey with our restaurant customers every year. I want to know how we're doing and what we can do to improve that, and a survey is really one of the few ways that you can do that.